wanna live a life.
That guy just, oh my gosh! Surprise, motherfucker! What? Oh my god, you're fucking crazy! What's up, you smexy individuals? My name is Birdman Smith. What's up, you smexy individuals? My name is Birdman778, and welcome back to another thematic build video. Today, we're doing one based on Zane, and we're calling this our Mirage build. Now, you might wonder why we're calling this a Mirage build. This one is based around the Apex Legends character, also named Mirage. So Zane and Mirage actually have something in common, and that is their clone. In Apex Legends, Mirage is able to throw out clones to deceive his enemies into thinking that he's running one way, running the other. He also has an ultimate ability that throws out a bunch of different clones out in the area that will run around, essentially give him an ability to escape, get behind enemies, other stuff like that. So it's kind of easy to find that character in Borderlands that fit that, and that is Zane himself. And it made even more sense, especially after the most recent patch, where Zane's clone actually got an insane buff. It is actually super viable doing damage now. So I was like, obviously I really wanted to do a clone build. This one was completely and utterly inspired by the wonderful man Thickfillet. Make sure you go check out his Twitch channel, twitch.tv/thickfillet, and also on YouTube. Dude's constantly pumping out some really awesome Zane builds, so definitely recommend stopping by there, checking them out. But again, mine is just inspired by that, the idea of dropping a clone and then also throwing a barrier on top of it. Now, before we get to the specific stuff right there, let's go down the gear that we're using for this build. So in regard to the items that we're gonna have for this build, essentially I wanted to go with something that was gonna really help out the whole like speed aspect of the build. Again, since Mirage is a speed-based character, and Zane himself obviously is a speed-based character, so we wanted to kind of find some weapons that would help with that. The Light Show being the new Vladov pistol that came in the Bounty of Blood DLC felt like something that would really fit with this, especially just the fact that like whenever you have your clone out and you have your clone holding one of these, it's pumping out a lot of damage, and it's really awesome all around. I have a corrosive version, a fire version, a shock version, and then I'm also running a flipper as well with shock and corrosive is going on. Why do we have this? Just as like an extra gun if we have to pull out for that. We don't normally have to do that purely off the fact of one of our class items, that being our artifact, which is the cut purse launch pad. We're not really running out of a whole lot of ammo ever, just because anything happens we can just ground pound and get that ammo back for ourselves. Anointment wise, I'm running consecutive hits on the corrosive version. I'm running barrier with accuracy and crit on the fire, and then on the shock, action skill, active weapon damage, and then the consecutive hits on the flipper. For our shield, we're running a transformer with Digi-Clone, regenerates health. This is really great, obviously, because your clone should be up for most of the time you're fighting in general, so you're constantly getting that health regen from that. A scene deck class mod with weapon crit, SMG, and pistol. Obviously, this matches the entire build all together. Again, that cut purse launch pad. And then its piss grenade, we're not using the grenade whatsoever, but it goes into our skill tree at a certain point. So it's definitely something that you can have it. You don't really need it, but whatever, it's just there. So in the green skill tree, we're essentially just doing whatever we can to get down to all-rounder. There's really no point in us putting in extra points in any of these skills right here, but I did put one into confident competence just because you're getting that extra gun damage and accuracy, super helpful. We also running nanites or some shite as well, just so anytime we're around our barrier, we're starting to get that health regen and increased reload speed. Super great, love it. In the blue skill tree, violent momentum and violent speed, definitely. For this build, to kind of match that idea of Mirage being a speed character, we obviously went those speed perks right there, so it was really needed for that. We only have 1 point in salvation because your clone is essentially going to be doing a lot of that health regen for you. As long as it's shooting and hitting targets, you are gaining your health back, and you should be running around doing that as well. So super great. A couple on the cool hand just to get us down to death follows close, and then getting down to plain dirty and violent violence, and 1 point into good misfortune. Again, you can kind of mess around with these as much as you want, but for this specific build, and the fact that we're doing for our main Zane being speed and then for the other being just damage, this works out really well. And then we're going to have our most points here in the red tree, essentially filling out this entire top row mostly, except for one into the extra mags. Donnybrook all the way up. We're going to put pocket full of grenades up a lot because we want to make sure we're constantly getting some grenades. That helps out boom enhance. As soon as you pull out your Digi-Clone, it consumes 3 grenades, and in return gives him more gun damage, max health, fire rate, reload speed, and Digi-Clone duration. Super great, and essentially a big part of this build. I tested this out a couple times on the Ruiner with and without it, and essentially with this I can close to 2 clip the Ruiner with just that. So definitely a viable option. Old use is definitely a really great one because of the Mayhem modifiers we're using, so I'll explain that later. But double barrel, definitely have to have that just so you're kind of mimicking whatever gun you're using. I had a couple of tests where I kind of noticed that my damage went up on the clone whenever I gained speed as well. I don't think that's really confirmed at all. There's a couple times it looked like it was going up higher. It's just going to require some more testing unless somebody else knows. But again, Digi-Clone and Barrier are the main action skills you're going to be using for this. In regards to Mayhem modifiers, Speed Demon, huge. Always going to have that with Zane. I think it's not even a second thought. You really do need it just because more kills you're getting, the more speed you're getting, especially since you're not running a snowdrift on this where you're not getting extra speed from that. Having something where you and your clone are killing things that makes you go faster is needed. Healy Avengers, always amazing just because you shoot those hearts, it drops health for you. Chain Gang, I really don't notice a huge amount of that most of the time because especially when I'm the main Zane running around, I'm bouncing around a lot, so I kind of jump over the lines of energy that they have. And then Postmortem, death follows you around. Essentially, you just shoot him with that fire light show, and you're good to go. But at the same time, if for some reason he were to hit you, death that being, you can just activate old you and get yourself popped back up. So I've seen a couple people do this build, and I really like the way that I have it set up here. Just purely off the fact that you essentially have a sentry turret, that being your clone, sitting there being kept alive by your barrier while also pumping out a lot of damage while you're able to run around the battlefield and essentially clean up and or just not be stuck in one spot. You can do a lot of zoning with this if you stick around your barrier, so you can even just shoot through it yourself if you want, and especially with having the nanites active as well, you're getting that health regen if you're around it, so definitely beneficial to do that. So it gives you a lot of versatility in the build, but keeping up your speed, moving around, you're able to do a lot more damage with Zane, that is. But definitely check out a lot of the different other creators who are out there doing these different Zane builds. He's in a really good spot right now, I think, in regards to this. I mean, clone being viable is super awesome. I mean, it was pretty viable before thanks to other characters, other content creators that we've seen, like Garwood or Thick Fillet. But at the same time, I think now it's something that any person can kind of hop in and really understand. And it kind of gives clone a different role other than just being the guy to activate your action skill or to end it, that is. But guys, if you want to check out more of these different builds that I'm doing, make sure you check out my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/birdman778. I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. I also have a couple streams sprinkled in between there on the other days, so make sure you're staying updated on my social media. Twitter.com/birdman778, Instagram.com/birdmangram, and then obviously here on YouTube, youtube.com/birdman778. I have a couple other thematic builds. We recently did an Amara. I call it One for All Amara. Super awesome. We're going to have another Amara one coming up here soon. A couple different flak ones, the Rose and the Ruiner flak build. And then obviously I kind of want to try to get some Moze builds in here sometime. I'm just not really great on Moze, so really kind of hard to jump into something that you're not super comfortable with. But hopefully here soon we're going to be able to do that, especially with, at the time of this video, Iron Bear being absolutely broken. Absolutely broken. I think in the good way. I think it's good that she's broken a little bit. But guys, thank you so much for stopping by this video. I appreciate you, and make sure you're staying smexy.